Hello again, everybody. This is Joe Larson and Chuck Schultz. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Touring Series season coming to an end, Dover results, the Touring Series in general, some NASCAR news, and anything else that you want to talk about when we come back.
Inravio.com.
Hello again, everybody. So we're back. We're back. Dover stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And,
It's amazing to think that you blink your eyes and here you are at the end of the season.
The K&N Pro Series East had their last race this past weekend at Dover, and the NASCAR Whelen Modified Series will have their last race this upcoming weekend at the Thompson Motorsports Park. So, like you said, it's gone.
Gone.
I mean, we still have a couple of months
So
of
quick.
Cup, but you know, when you look at it, it's just whizzing on by, on by. And
Very
you know,
true.
when you especially in the Cup Series, Xfinity, the Camp Gander Outdoor Trucking Series, it starts in February, and it seems like, wow, it's a long season, and here we are. It's the middle of October.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're working on getting ready, it seems like it never gets here.
Right.
You know, you're so excited. You're like, you're getting ready way ahead of time because you got a lot of time for the most part, depending on what you're doing.
Yep.
But you're getting ready, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, come on, when's it coming? When's it coming?
Yeah.
You know, because everybody's like, cabin fever.
Oh yeah.
And they get out there, and then, zip, 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 you're blinking. Wait, what? Huh?
Well, you know, I know a lot of like weekly racers. It's the winter time, it's cold out in their garage or their shop or wherever, and they watch the Daytona 500. And that's the kick in the butt some of these guys need to get going.
That day they're out there.
Oh, yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah.
They got 6 cases of beer in them, but they're out there, ready to go.
Oh, yeah. And they're ready to rock and roll.
That really does get you going, doesn't it?
You know, it does. It really does.
And I don't know if it's the actual race or it's the nap during the race that
Because
gets
you get
going.
energized.
Because now you get up, it's dark out, you're like, I got to do something. Go out to the
do
garage.
something. What are we going to do? It's one of those things. And we're going to talk about the Touring Series later on in the show, but you know, you look at where that's gone, where it's come from, and you know, and we're going to talk about some of the sadness that's going on in that series. At least from my point of view, I've been involved with the Touring Series, since 2002, and indirectly, directly, in each of the series, the modifieds, the Southern modifieds when they ran the K&N Pro Series East and West, and you know, and it's just. We'll get into that later. I don't want to steal any of that thunder. But what we're going to talk about now is we're going to talk about Dover. We had some results out of Dover this past weekend. We got the Xfinity and the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup was there, and this is how that looked. In the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, we had Kyle Larson was the winner. Martin Truex Jr. was second. Alex Bowman third. Kevin Harvick fourth. Then Denny Hamlin finishing fifth. Kyle Busch sixth. Matt DiBenedetto seventh. Jimmy Johnson was eighth. Kurt Busch ninth. Clint Boyer rounding out the top 10. In the Xfinity Series race that was held there, we had Cole Custer the winner there. I watched some of that race too. Justin Allgaier was second. Austin Cindric was third. Justin Haley fourth. Chase Briscoe fifth. Michael Annett sixth. Noah Gragson seventh. John Hunter Nemechek eighth. Zane Smith ninth. And Ryan Sieg rounded out the top 10 there. Dover. Nice facility. Mile
do.
track.
I like Dover Downs, always did.
You know?
And I like the concrete.
Yeah.
You know, it's a totally different animal, no doubt about it.
Oh, without a doubt.
But I do like that track.
You know, when
Had a good nap at that track, too.
did you really? See,
Turn 3.
I worked there a few times. I worked there a few times in each of the series, and it was different. And watching that track on TV, watching the TV when that race is on, and then you go there and you realize that there's a horse track
Next door.
in it,
Yeah.
inside it.
Well, that's the whole Dover Downs thing.
Yeah, and
Because I don't know why it's Downs, but horse tracks are typically
to really down.
down, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is the one straightaway goes downhill and the other straightaway goes uphill, and you don't notice that on TV. You notice it when you're there, when you're looking at it. And if you have the right room at the hotel/casino in the backstretch, you don't have to leave your room. You have the best seat in the house.
Yeah, and the other thing too is you really can't see the banking on that track
No.
until you're there.
Yeah.
It's kind of very, I don't know, deceiving, I guess, the
But,
banking.
you know, it's a lot of tracks are like that. The banking is very deceiving when you get there. Even, you know, some of the touring tracks, Stafford, Thompson, Riverhead, Monadnock, the banking on those places is deceiving as well. And there is some that, you don't see too many flat tracks anymore than like New Hampshire Motor Speedway up in, obviously, New Hampshire, the flat tracks, which it has a little bit of banking, but you go to a Bristol, you have
It's a
trouble
different
walking
animal.
up.
It's a bowl, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You really do. But when you look at these things, these tracks, and I've been to, I can't keep track of how many tracks I've been to in my lifetime. They all have a unique look to them other than the cookie cutter tracks that NASCAR put out, like Kentucky and Texas and Chicagoland. They're almost exactly the same, you know.
Well, I think they like the idea of the one going down, the one coming up, because it changes it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like at your local track where you might have a different turn.
Right.
You know, one turn might be a little bit different than another, and you might be set up to really kicking butt
Yeah.
on
Oh, yeah.
on one set of turns, but on the other ones you're just like riding through. You know, but it would be your go-to turn, you know, where you would make most of your passes. I mean, and there's people that really excel at, you know, at the Monster Mile, excuse me, at the Monster Mile at Dover. You know what I mean? There have been people who have dominated that track just for whatever reason. It suits them. It just fits right into there. Maybe it reminds them of a track that they raced at when they were coming up.
Yep.
And it just seems to be, it puts it right in there.
Yeah, yeah. It's again, it's years ago, and here I go again, years ago, back in my day. But the tracks were all unique, and the top series racing from a 10th mile tracks to the Talladegas and Daytonas that were 2.5 and 2.66 miles, and you had to be a driver, and they raced on pavement and dirt, and in most cases with the same car, because they didn't.
Well, that's even before your day.
You know, when you think about that,
They didn't have a backup car.
they didn't have a backup car. They loaded up their trailer and their station wagon or their pickup truck or their van,
And that was it.
and they said, "Goodbye, Mama. See you when we get back.
See, when we get back,
Western Union the money back to you if there's any."
we're going to the Northeast.
You know, and they took the swing across the northern part of the country, down the west coast, and then back through the middle of the country, and then down into Florida, and then back up to home again. And
Well, anytime you have an influx of money into any kind of a sport, then that's when all that stuff starts
Oh, yeah.
happening, you know.
yeah, it just.
Of course, it grew. You're not washing your own windshield like Earnhardt, right?
Yeah, really. Hanging out, or who was it that got out of his car on the red and was pulling the fender?
Was that Sterling Marlin, I think?
Yes, it was Sterling Marlin.
Sterling Marlin got out, and he's like, "Oh, that fender needs to be fixed. I'm gonna hop out and take care of that."
200,000 people in the stands, about 80 officials, and he thinks he's going to get away with it. No, it didn't work.
On live TV.
Yeah,
With
on live TV.
400 cameras.
Yeah. When you think about it, you know, we're just trying to connect with our friends here on Facebook Live. So if I didn't get to you, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just a whole different world today when you think about what racing has become.
Well, for the better or the worse, I guess, but I think
Yeah.
it's become for the better.
I do too.
I mean, it's gotten a hell of a lot better. I mean, in every aspect, they've just brought it to the next level. I
Right.
don't know where they'll go from here, but that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
You know,
I think they're trying to make changes. I think the leadership that was there most recently made a lot of mistakes. And that's what happens, in my opinion, when you have a person who is never hands-on and never really, you don't go from mismanaging your life to trying to manage and run a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
well, you're right, but I mean, when you're in business, sometimes it's a crapshoot, and you have
Right.
to. It's a hit and miss thing.
Yeah.
You know, you come up with an idea, and you say, I think this might work.
Yeah.
So you give it a shot.
yeah.
The worst that could happen is you say, you know what, that didn't work.
Didn't work.
We're not going to try that again. Or maybe we'll try it again 20 years from now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, You have to try some different stuff and see what really sticks.
Yeah, and I think one of the mistakes that was made, and I think it was a big mistake, especially in the modified series, is they took, even though they're still called modifieds, they're no longer modifieds. They took cars and modified them and went racing. And now they're cookie cutter. And years ago, a car could go out on the track and primer. That's Charlie Gisambach. That's Richie Evans. That's Jerry Cook. That's Jeff Bodine.
They look different.
They looked different. They were unique.
did, yeah.
And now you can't tell a Chevy from a Ford. And in a lot of the series, you can't tell the difference. They look exactly the same. And the only thing that designates or should designate the make and model is the roof.
Well, I think that's because back then they, were really junkyard cars,
Pretty much.
and they kind of made a lot of the panels themselves.
Yes.
And they weren't going down to the speed shop and saying,
No.
"Here, give me a hood."
Yeah. No.
You couldn't get a rear quarter at the speed shop.
No, you couldn't. No, you
You know,
couldn't.
so-
And that just didn't.
Now you
happen.
have that, which is nice. I mean,
Yeah.
in a way, but it'll also cost you a lot of money. If you keep replacing your panels every week for a short track guy. But at the same token, the idea of that is that it makes it a little bit more convenient for
It
you,
does.
especially when you work in a job or something. You
Yeah.
get a full-time life.
Yeah. And now we got the playoffs, dwindling down, I should say, in the Cup Series. Now it's down to 8. It's going to be down to 8 with the next race. With Truex is leading there with Denny Hamlin 15 points back, as Kyle Busch is as well. Kevin Harvick is 21 back, and then we have Kyle Larson 32 back, Brad Keselowski 43 points back, Alex Bowman 46 back, William Byron 63 back. On the bubble, Joey Logano, Clint Boyer, Chase Elliott, and Ryan Blaney. For any of those bubble guys, they got to win. They got to win Talladega, and then they'll be in. Otherwise, it's going to take a miracle for them to get up there. Joey Logano's got a shot. He needs William Byron to not have a good day. Even Clint Boyer, he needs the two people ahead of him. Because Alex Bowman has a 20-point advantage or 17-point advantage over William Byron in that last spot. So we'll see how that goes. And it's just the first time since the chase or the playoff format that Jimmy Johnson will not be contending. So that's kind of different. That's kind of different. Even the Xfinity, they did their thing as well. One more race, they'll be down to 4. We got Christopher Bell, Cole Custer 12 back, Tyler Reddick 18 back, and Austin Cindric 45 back. And then the other 4 that are still in the hunt is Justin Allgaier, Chase Briscoe, Michael Annett, and Noah Gragson. So each of them need to get some victories to get in. Otherwise, they'll be down to 4.
Well, it'd be kind of nice to see that, anybody can kind of win it. At least everybody's got a shot at doing something. Because when you get down to just a couple of people, it's kind of
Yeah. It's
take it or leave it, right?
It is. It is. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then in the Gander Outdoor Truck Series, we have Brett Moffitt leading the points there with Austin Hill 17 back, Ross Chastain 18 back, Stuart Friesen 20 back, and Matt Grafton 23 back, as Tyler Ankrum is 29 back. So that's pretty tight there. So anything could happen in that series, which kind of makes it interesting. So
Yeah.
it really does.
That's where you really, where anybody can, a couple laps this way or that way. You know what I mean? That's really, if this guy finishes, 12th or better, or this guy finishes, anywhere from 20th to 7th, you know what I mean? He's got a shot at it. And that's what you want to kind of see,
Right. Yeah. So anyway,
That's what really makes it nice.
Somebody just made a comment that in the Whelen Modifieds, in all actuality, all Whelen cars are Fords. A spec is a Ford.
Right.
And we're not talking about engines. We're talking about body styles.
Right.
Because I don't know, at least in the upper series, a Camry V8 or a Toyota V8. So, the motor could be just anything. Not like the old days when the motor had to match the tin, as they used to say.
Yeah.
And when they were stock cars out of the showroom. So anyway, we're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to talk about some of the things that are going on in the touring series, as well as how it's going to look this weekend at the Thompson Motorsports Park when we come back.
Hey, what's I said was gonna say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Chuck. It's Ed, the voiceover guy for the Inravio TV network. All right, 400 episodes, 400 5-off, 5-ons. What an accomplishment. Thank you for giving Long Island racing fans a home. I'm looking forward to the next 400. Congrats again.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for joining us for the show.
Yeah.
A couple more weeks worth of, bringing you the race results, right?
Yeah, and before I forget, next Monday night, I will not be here. My daughter, Erin, is marrying NASCAR Tour Type driver Vinny Delaney. And Vinny Delaney is marrying my daughter, who is the chief scorer at Long Island Riverhead Raceway. So they met at the track, and as much as I didn't want my daughter marrying a race car driver, I'm very happy for them. So
Good.
Their wedding is this Sunday. It's going to be a party and a half from the way it looks, and I am so looking forward to it. So looking forward to it. I'm needing to recoup on Monday.
Okay.
But it should be fun, and there's a lot of racers going to be in attendance. A lot of racers are in the wedding party. So my blessings to my daughter and my future son-in-law, Vinny Delaney. I got to tell you, if I could go to the mall and buy the perfect man for my daughter, it would be this guy.
That's good.
I don't like that he races, but maybe he'll outgrow that.
That's what you're figuring on, huh?
Yeah, he just bought a modified, so I'm not thinking that's going to happen.
Probably not.
No. But it'll be fun. And, they make each other happy, and that's all that matters.
That's
And,
really all that matters. And you know what? If they can deal with the racing thing, they're real good with it.
She's up in the scoring tower. She doesn't have to deal with the nonsense in the pits.
Good.
He's in the pits. He doesn't have to deal with the nonsense up in the tower.
That's nice.
It's perfect. So
It is perfect. Yeah,
blessings and it'll be good.
absolutely. Congratulations to both of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Good people. Good people.
Thank you. Well, K&M Pro Series East was at the Dover International Speedway this past weekend as well, and I believe we have some results to look at there. We had Sam Mayer, who was a winner there. Tanner Gray was second. Todd Gilliland was third. Drew Dollar was fourth. Chase Cabaret was fifth. Max McLaughlin was sixth. Spencer Davis was seventh. Ruben Garcia Jr. eighth. Brandon McReynolds was ninth. And Justin Carroll rounding out the top 10. With that win, Sam Mayer became the NASCAR K&M Pro Series champion this past weekend, making him the youngest NASCAR champion in the history of NASCAR. So congratulations.
16?
16. Yeah.
16 in 3 months, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
He beat the other guy by
By like days.
3 months?
Yeah, I mean.
Or
it's-
5, I think the other guy was 5 months, so he beat him by 2 months.
And you know.
But can you imagine at 16?
No. I didn't even have my license at 16.
Did not have my license at 16.
I was still riding my bicycle.
Yeah.
I was still riding my bicycle at 16.
Hey, you know, more power to him.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, it's. These kids today.
Haven't felt the wall.
No.
And that's the good part.
They start racing go-karts like at 5, 6 years
Yeah,
old.
well, you know, that helps, right?
It does, and
I
that's
mean, look
why.
how many people came out of that.
Exactly, but that's why a lot of guys are like 35 years old. Oh, I'm retiring now. My racing career has been going on for 30 years, and I need to do something else.
Well, if they're marrying your daughter, then maybe that's a good thing.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, it could be a good thing. But congratulations to Sam on that
Yeah.
championship and being the youngest guy ever.
That's just a great, I mean, what a way to start out, really. I mean, you know, wow.
But the thing with the K&M Pro Series East and that I'm concerned about is car counts. The car counts, 12, 14 cars. There's, I think I said it last week, there's only 7 or 8 drivers that made every race.
Yeah.
Something like 63 started at least one. But the series, and I hate to say it to my K&M people, the series is in trouble. You know, unless something, I don't know what's going on with the old ARCA and the merger and how that's supposed to fit in, but the series in general is in trouble. Some tracks are canceling events, like the Thompson Motorsports Park. They canceled an event on them because of a poor car count. And understand from a person who's been behind the scenes, the promoter gets zero help from NASCAR, zero. They pay a sanctioning fee, they get the cars in, they pay a purse. Some of that purse is they hope to get from pit admissions. They hope so many cars enter,
How many people in each car?
how many people in each crew.
Yeah, so you get the pit passes,
And
right?
as Mark Garou told me one time, cars in the pits equate to fannies in the seat.
Yeah.
Because now the wife, the husband, the cousin, the friend of those people
The
are
family.
buying tickets to watch.
Right, the family's coming to watch.
And,
Well, it makes sense. It's perfectly
Yeah.
good sense.
I mean, there was a lot of changes made to the K&M Pro Series East when it was the old Busch North. Then it became the Busch East. And there was even for a season the Camping World Series. And then K&N Filter stepped up. And as a title sponsor, I'd be concerned too that where's all the cars?
Yeah, am I getting a good bang for my buck? Well, you know, ARCA was a different series before NASCAR bought it.
Right.
You know, and one of the things that people, you know, sometimes they think about it, sometimes they don't. But there's a lot of other racing series out there besides something that's sanctioned by NASCAR.
Right.
So there are a lot of other avenues for people to go to besides, say, K&N.
Yeah.
And you know what, depending on what you're getting and what, you know, the overall picture.
Right.
I mean, if you're looking to do it for money or you're looking to do it for the racing aspect, the seat time, the fun of it, you know, I mean, where are you at in your racing career? There are so many different series for you to run, whether it's open wheel or full body cars,
Yeah.
or, you know, there's, you know, Formula Fords, there's all kinds of different stuff.
Yep.
You know, there's just so many forms that you can, you know,
yeah.
really put the
And
the
you
pedal
know-
to the metal in, with the wheels to the ground, and,
Exactly.
and do something in besides NASCAR.
Yeah, and there's some have a very hefty payoff. Like I know the Dirt Series, they have a nice payoff for drivers. You know, the Lucas Oil Series, even drag racing. You know, in the bracket racing, somebody just said that a 14-year-old won a $50,000 to win bracket style drag race a month ago. And you got to look at it. NASCAR's making a lot of money from TV coverage, and they split it up even with the different, you know, NBC and Fox and whatever.
Right, everybody gets a piece of the pie
Everybody
because they
gets a
want to
piece of
keep
the
them.
pie.
They don't want to put their eggs in one basket.
Right.
Makes perfectly good sense.
Exactly.
And you know, kudos to them for making that happen. Not everybody's got that kind of TV
Right.
coverage.
And it's come a long way from, you know, a 4-hour race on Wild Order Sports cut down to 20 minutes.
Yeah, which was just the highlights.
Right. And we
And
got
most
excited.
of most of that was the two guys beating the crap out of each
Yeah.
other on the infield.
The first one. But they'd show you the start, they'd watch a few laps, you know, okay, we're going to go back to Alpine, you know,
Ski jump.
ski jumps, and then,
Yeah.
then they watch it, then they'll show some crashes, and while we were gone, this happened.
And then go back to the men's
Yeah, then
figure
they'll go
skating
to,
championship.
to curling, you know, guys are throwing a weight on ice, and then they go, okay, and these two guys had a fight, and this has happened in the pits, and I'm like, what happened? And I'm thinking these races are taking 40 minutes until I watched that first one live,
Right.
and it took 4 hours.
And you're like, what is this all about?
Yeah, you know,
But you know, I got to say, I did like the wide world of sports because it kept you awake a little bit.
it did.
Because it was always something different.
Yeah, because if you didn't like the sport that was on next, you know, you can go have a sandwich, go to the
Right.
bathroom, take a nap even.
There was no
wake me
hitting-
up when the race comes back.
no
on.
hitting the pause.
No, because it went from 4:30 to 6, and you saw like 20 minutes of race.
This is Howard Cosell, speaking of sports.
And Jim McKay, he was all serious and all student.
Jackie, what was her name? Jackie
Jackie Stewart.
Stewart.
Yeah, when
It's
he
a
did-
great day for motor car racing.
Yes. And they were in a bunch. He would say, and there's a guy.
And he had the hat. He had the hat on.
He had the little hat.
Had the hat.
Oh, the good old days. Yeah, it's the good old days. And what are you going to do? You know, we got a former figure eight driver. I just noticed he's on, George Sprague. I raced with him. Thank you, George. Welcome. He was a guy, his dad was involved with figure eights, and then his son George took over. And George did the smart thing. He got married, started a family, and stopped racing. Always had immaculate equipment.
There you go.
It was, you know, and people would say, it's a figure eight car. No, it's a race car. You know, and the thing was to keep them looking good. It wasn't like the old days. You know?
Well, you take pride in what you do. That's
You do.
That's
You
important.
do. But anyway, hey, Whelen Engineering has signed a 10-year deal, and a 10-year extension, I should say, to stay on as the title sponsor in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series through 2030.
Wow.
Now, I had some concerns when the late Phil Kurz, who masterminded is with Jimmy Hunter, who's also passed away, to get Whelen Engineering involved with NASCAR. And my concern was, all right, Jimmy Hunter's gone, and Phil Kurz is gone. Where's that going to leave Whelen?
What's going to happen?
And they're signing extensions. They're talking about extensions in the modifieds. They're in every weekly racing series track across the country, North America, Europe.
Well, you know, ultimately, if they're smart business people and they're getting a return on investment, whether there's somebody there in the key seat or not, they're going to move forward, you know.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And again, it's a bang for the buck that they want to have.
Exactly. It's ultimately, you know, Whelan's been around forever, and there's no way that they're going anywhere.
Yeah,
If they're seeing a return, they're right there.
I can remember Phil
imagine.
Kurz, you know, him and I, we'd have a lot of business discussions during rain delays, or we're just sitting in the office and whatnot. And Phil, he was a racer. He was into racing, followed racing forever. He even got involved with the Olympic bobsleds, with the Bodine sled that was designed by Brett Bodine and Jeff Bodine. And he had this saying about wheeling weather. If we were racing, it was wheeling weather. But I had said to him, I said, Phil, I said, this is a big undertaking that Whelen's doing. And he goes, we're that solvent. And in the history of our country and company, we've never had a layoff, never even had a scare of a layoff, never cut back our employees' hours. And we give back to our employees. And now because we're so solvent, we're giving back to a sport we love, and that's auto racing. And they supplied all the weekly racing series tracks with the lights, with the caution lights, instead of, you'd go to a racetrack and they'd have old traffic lights that are always breaking and beat up and from being wrecked and stuff. And uniforms for track crews. They got their brand out there. And Phil was like, this is what we do. And if he knew you were a volunteer fireman, he'd show up with a set of lights for you, the fire department, blue lights. And you of course you got to say, how much do I owe you? And he goes, no, it's a test. It's a test.
You should introduce me. What's going on over here?
I don't even know where my blue light is.
Put new lights on the car over there. Come on.
But it was.
Haven't had a blue light in 40 years.
Wow. Yeah. I got pulled over going to a fire once. Now I was in Savo, and I was still a member of the Babylon Village Fire Department. Now, if I made the light at the service road, I'd make the first truck. If I got stuck at because I had to go north and then west. If I got stuck at the second light on the service road, because you got to go over Sunrise Highway, there's two lights, I might have made the second truck. If I got stuck at those two lights, or got jammed up on the Oakdale Merge.
You were sweeping the firehouse waiting for the trucks to come back.
Exactly. So there I am down Sunrise 27 West, doing about 90. No light. I got to go. I didn't plug it in.
Didn't plug the light in.
So there I'm going.
You got to have the light. That's the whole thing.
Next thing I know, there's different color lights in my rearview mirror, and I look, I'm pulled over. So I pull over, and the officer comes up and he goes, "Where you going to, a fire?" I said, as a matter of fact, I am. So I give him my stuff, and I show him my ID and my badge, and he goes, "Do you know you still have to follow the rules and regulations of the highway? It does not give you the right to speed, blow red lights, and stop signs." I said, I understand that, officer. I'm being real humble, because sometimes it'd be real humble and nice to let you go. So he says to me, why are you going so fast? I said, I'm trying to make the first truck. And again, he gave me this speech about...
You should know better. You're a volunteer fireman.
Yeah. So this is what I said, real nice and real polite. I said, "Officer, if this was your house, would you want me to get there as fast as I can?" Now, he gave me a look like I'm an idiot, which I kind of deserved. He goes and runs, I guess, checks me out, and I'm all good. He hands me back my stuff. He goes, "Did you miss the trucks?" "I believe so, officer. 55 the rest of the way." No ticket, no warrant, nothing. Just let me go.
Good.
But I still got my name in the book. I got credit for being there.
There you go.
You know about the book.
Sign the book.
Oh, anyway. Hey, this weekend, NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour will be at the Thompson Motorsports Park for the last race. It's the World Series of racing at Thompson. And the championship is going to come down to that event between Doug Colby, a 5-time champion, who leads Justin Bonsignor, the defending Whelen Modified champion, by 19 markers.
Wow.
Now, Doug Colby just has to run smart, and he'll lock it up. Justin Bonsignor has to do everything he can to close the gap. Justin could win this race
And still lose. So he's got to knock Doug Colby out.
So he gets accused of that all the time.
That's what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying that Bonsignor needs Colby to stumble. That's a little more professional, nicer. Doug Colby can't get mad at me, send me like nasty grams, Now, Bonsignor, up until the Bud 150, had won 6 straight at the Thompson Motorsports Park. But he finished second in the Bud 150. This is his place. This is his track. He does very well there. So I wish both dry. I know both of them personally. I know Justin longer since he's like 5 and go-kart
Yeah.
6. But you know what? Both teams are professional teams. And Mike, I know the owners of both teams, Mike Sumligrill III on Doug Kobe's car. The guy's a true professional. Him and I, again, we talk race business, because he's a CPA, he's an accountant, and he was very helpful in talking to me about how to run a race business. And
Said if you want to lose money, get into racing.
well, the best way to end up with $1 million racing is to start with $2 million. That's basically what.
And not get into racing.
Yeah, exactly. And don't break anything.
Yeah.
But Kenny Massa, the owner of the 51 car, I remember when I first met him. Again, a true gentleman. Very rarely do I see him upset unless something really stupid happens. Nice guy. He even helped me out with my race team over the years. So I want it to be a good, clean race. I don't want to. There's always people out of a score to settle. I don't want those racers to affect the outcome of this one. You know, so,
Let them race it out on the track.
exactly. You know, the guy who says
The best man win. That's all.
exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to see, you know, Justin got me 5 races ago or 5 years ago, whatever it is, because racers don't forget.
Yeah, well.
And decides to block them or shove them up, whatever.
That'll
And the same
be-
thing with Doug. I don't want to see that.
Break their fingers or something.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't want to see that. We do not want to
Inside
see that.
joke.
Anyway, when we come back, we're going to take a break, and we have some NHRA news when we come back.
Hi, I'm Remington.
I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8 Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Hey, NHRA, we don't really talk about NHRA a lot.
Not every week, no.
No, but after 46 years of dedicated service to the NHRA, Chairman Dallas Gardner recently announced his retirement and will hand over the reins to current CEO Peter Clifford. Gardner joined the NHRA in 1973 as its treasurer.
Wow.
He became vice president in 1978, and in 1984, Gardner became the president of the NHRA. Time to step down. That's a long time
That's a long time.
to run NHRA. He was very instrumental in the safety of the racetracks, TV coverage, and things of that nature to push that along. and even some nice payouts for the people, the competitors. And when you think about drag racing, when it became popular throughout the 50s and the 60s, some of the places that they raced at were just not safe. And,
Well, I think the most biggest, and it was probably under his, his reign there, like a better way to say it, under his watchful eye. They went from the front engine to the
Right.
rear engine dragster.
Right.
Could you imagine sitting behind the engine?
Yeah.
With the pipes and the heat and
Shirley Muldowney, it blew up in her face. And even though they had the right equipment and
fire suit?
eye suit, helmet, she got
Dirty
messed up.
Daddy Don Garland's,
Don
right?
Garland's, yeah, Big Daddy.
Unbelievable.
And now these things blow up, and like John Force, we had pictures of his car a couple of years ago on the show, and he walked away.
Yeah, but his is in the front.
Yeah,
'Cause he's
but
a
he
funny
still
car.
walked away, yeah. So
But the safety has come a long way, absolutely.
absolutely, and just it's like any other safety innovation, even with auto racing, and back in the 30s, 40s, and even into the 50s, they didn't have seatbelts. Especially when they had the midgets, full-size midgets, they didn't have seatbelts. Those things would flip the guy, go flying out of it. By plan. Then they got, we got to put seatbelts in. So then guys couldn't get out of the seats, and they were using the old jet fighter belts because they were, you can go to anywhere and get them.
It's
left
what
over
they
from World
had,
War
right.
II.
Go to the Army Navy store and get
And the
them.
car would roll over and break their neck. So, we need to put a roll bar on, and it just grew.
Well, that's where it comes from, right?
Yeah.
That's where the innovations come. Something bad has to happen.
Exactly.
For you to come up with something to say, hey, let's do this.
Yeah. So anyway.
I mean, hey, they used to race convertibles, right?
Yeah. Where's convertibles? Richard Petty started in convertibles.
Exactly.
Back in the day.
Could you imagine?
Now, I don't know if anybody saw this, and it wasn't this past weekend, it was the week before. Bubba Wallace and his situation with Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman gets out of his race car, race is over, he needs medical attention, he's sitting on the ground leaning against his door, and Bubba Wallace comes over and throws a bottle of water in his face. Not the bottle, but the water. I know Bubba Wallace personally, and it's not his character. Now, that's all I saw on the highlights. So I got to go back and watch the race. I go, what? Why would, that's not him. And he was pushed around on the racetrack by Alex Bowman. He was taken out by Alex Bowman. And not knowing Alex Bowman, but knowing the situation he's in as a playoff contender. Hey, this guy's not a contender. Get out of my way. But you know what? He's still racing for points too.
He's still at a race, right? Yeah.
You shouldn't race like that. And I don't know. I don't know what people's opinions are of that, but and the talk Sunday night, all day Monday was, oh, Bubba's going to get fined. He's going to get suspended. Richard Petty's going to get rid of him because Richard Petty don't like that stuff, and nothing happened. And my guess on that is NASCAR's thinking, maybe we need this. We need those characters back, like in the Bobby Allison days and the Cale Yarborough days and Dale Earnhardt smacking Rusty Wallace.
Well, you got to have somebody called the Intimidator and
Exactly.
somebody. They've got to have nicknames,
Exactly.
They got to have a song, so when they come to the ring,
Yeah. Yeah.
they get to their car to have a song to come out to.
Exactly.
Like
Just
the-
like
like the
the
wrestlers.
baseball relief pitchers, they have a song.
Pick up a metal chair, whack the other guy in the head with it, get in your car. Steel cage match.
Here I go.
You got to get on the ropes, and the guy's beating you. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, they start chanting your name, and you're supposed to get up and get out there and win.
And win like a Rocky.
Like a Rocky.
Cut me, Mick. Cut me.
Right.
But
Well,
when,
that's what people like to see.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's bad enough that the top series in NASCAR has become a parade with no music, no passing.
I got to tell you, I was a big Dale Earnhardt Sr. fan, and I'll never forget that Daytona 500, where he was in I forget, fourth or third or something like that. Caution comes out with 5 laps to go on the 500. He comes in for tires. I'm like, what is he doing? What is he thinking?
What's he thinking? Who made that call?
He knew he had no more tire left.
Right.
There's nothing he could do.
No.
He comes in, he gets new tires, and I'm telling
He
you,
took 4.
he took 4 tires.
Yeah.
And in those 5 laps, I mean, he was right there in second, looking for that win.
Yep.
In 5 laps. He came through that pack like he was on fire.
He passed them, the other
He was
cars
passing 3-4 cars in
at a
every
clip.
turn.
Yeah. It was like they would stop for coffee.
Like nothing. He was a man on a mission.
Yeah.
And how do you not get up and cheer for that? It's just like unbelievable.
Yeah.
You want to see that.
Yeah. I was
Whether
at,
it's Earnhardt or Kyle Busch.
Right, whoever
I know
it is.
it's
I was at
By the
his
way,
first
Kyle,
win.
Kyle's a four-letter word, but
Yeah.
you know, that's one of those things, you know what I mean? It's like you want to see these things, you know? It's like the 16-year-old kid that wins the championship.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you not want to see this?
Exactly. I was not a Dale Earnhardt fan. I just wasn't. But I was at the 500 where he won his first. I was at some 500s where he lost some of them, flat
Yeah.
tire, this, that, and the other
Yeah.
thing. But when he won his first, and all right, the race is over, everybody's lining up and whatever, and all of a sudden, every single crew, every member lined up on pit road and shook his hand. I just got goosebumps
Thinking about it. I mean, it wasn't a dry eye in the house.
No, and that's respect. Whether you love the guy or hate the guy, that's respect. And our sport, I call it our sport. Our sport is full of that. You know, you want to beat and bang and beat the guy and win. But when a guy does that, you know, out of respect, you got to respect that. You got to shake his hand. You got to pat him on the back.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my God. And that's missing today, too. That's missing. You know, some of the respect. Some of these young kids that are, and I say young kids, and not this 16-year-old, he's working his way up, but some of these 20-year-olds that are in the Cup Series, you know, first of all, and this is my pet peeve about some of these young guys racing, because they're not on TV, you see their faces like in the old days, they're not doing commercials or whatever, they walk around the garage area in jeans and a T-shirt. You don't know who they are. It's like they're not proud of what they do. Then you take, you know, I'll call them the old timers. They have their jeans. They're wearing a golf shirt that says, you know, Stuart Haas Racing, Richard Petty
Says their
Motorsports,
team.
Hendrick Motorsports, and sometimes even their name on it. And they're not afraid to go up and sign an autograph. And then you have this one group, they look at it, they're being infringed upon. And that's one of the reasons Juan Pablo didn't make it in NASCAR, because he was coddled in Formula One and when he raced. And, you know, I mean, I remember him getting ready to get in his car when he was driving, and he went like this. I'm like, now from my 15, 20 yards away, I thought he was like, what the heck? Oh no, somebody put his gloves on for him. Because that's what he was used to.
Inform me there.
And he wasn't used to fans being shoulder to shoulder.
Having the access.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
he didn't
that's
like
really
that.
what sets NASCAR apart. You know, there's certain things that set a lot of sports apart. I mean, come on, a hockey game, they'll beat the hell out of each other, but at the end of the game, they're at the center of the ice shaking each other's hands.
Right.
You know what I mean? And these are some things that, you know, you can't let that go.
No.
You know, those things, you know, the whole smacking each other in the back and who comes in the victory circle after you won to congratulate you. Come on, I'm not the only one who sees that and goes, that's sportsmanship.
No, it is.
You know, that's ultimately what you're looking to do here. You know,
Exactly.
and the fans, they should have 100% access to you all the time. I mean, that's what it's all about. And, you know, they do that in drag racing as well. The fans are right there when they're watching.
You know, going back to Bubba, Charles McNeil, he's a pastor of Racing with Jesus Ministries, and, you know, he knows a bit about Bubba, and he said, wow, and that's not him, and it's not. And that's the frustration on a season that started good with his second place finish at Daytona. They thought they would have a better season and being in the mid-20s in points, and we'll see what happens next year with Bubba, but I'm sure he's going to stay on with Richard Petty Motorsports. But the frustration levels that happen in racing, I mean, as weekly races, we experienced that. The
Oh
frustration.
yeah, well, it's emotions run high. You know, there's no doubt. I mean, people put a lot of money into these cars. They're not making a lot of money by racing them. It's a hobby. It's an expensive hobby, and you know, you're wearing your emotions on your sleeves when you're out there racing. And for the most part, you're trying to do your best. The last thing you want is somebody to put you into the wall,
Right.
spitting you out even. I mean, you know, I mean, we've seen it all. I mean, you know, as racers, we've experienced it, have seen it, and you know, how many guys get out of their car and run across the track, and well, you know, you first day you see somebody with a 4x4 running through the pits. It's just like, you know, and he knows who he is, and I'm not going to say any names, but he's watching. But I mean, you know, it happens.
My instrument of choice was the jack handle.
Now, I never used any instrument.
Oh my!
But I'll tell you, you know, it's
Oh man, I'm all red over that. I'm embarrassed. Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you put your heart and soul into these things. Yeah. You know what I mean? And sometimes, you know, I don't want to say it, but, you know, sometimes you put your life into it as well.
You do.
I mean, you know, and some people just, you know, there's no end. It's them.
It's you know, I know drivers over the years that I've known. I've been involved with this business for over 42 years, and they wouldn't take a job, because they had to work Saturday. They had to work race day.
Oh, it's important. I mean, you know,
I can work. I got to race.
Well, absolutely, and that's one of those things.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we had, you know, 1 week there where we lost how many people in the modified division?
Yeah.
Between drivers and crew members.
Oh, yeah.
and crew chiefs and so forth. It was a tough week there.
Yeah, it was.
You know, and you know, we don't want to forget, but you know, we had, you know, she's a race car driver as well, Jessie Combs. You know, she was looking for that land speed record to be the fastest woman, and she was. She was the fastest woman, but she was trying to break the fastest time, which I think was set back in the 1970s.
Right.
You know, and you know, look what happened. You know,
Yeah.
but I mean, apparently they're looking to get it qualified based on video. The couple of passes she made before she had the fateful pass where she actually passed, and. She had some really good time, the speeds there.
Yeah, she did.
That would put her at the world's fastest woman. But I mean, you know, some people are so driven, and racers, and just they want it. It's in their blood.
Yeah.
It's something that they have to do.
Right.
Whatever the outcome is at the end, it's something they got to do.
And I know, you know, back in my officiating days, and I did that for a long time, I can remember guys, you know, drivers, crew chiefs, owners coming up to me, "Did you see someone? He wrecked us on purpose." And after I let the dust settle and let them calm down, I'd talk to me after, I'm doing what I got to do. And what I would say to them, I says, "Do you really think a guy worked on his car all week, loaded it up, drove here, bought tires, fuel, whatever, paid for his crew, fed him, and decided, I'm going to go on a racetrack and wreck somebody on purpose and destroy their own race car?" It was an accident.
It's a racing accident.
You know, and I had...
Unless they got broken fingers.
Exactly. I had I
Inside joke.
made a photocopy of in the dictionary of the word, you know, accident, and then I blew it up and cut it, and I had it in a frame. I said, "This is what an accident." I go, "This is an accident. Do you really think they wrecked you on purpose?" I don't think so.
Well, you know, now with cameras everywhere, you can pretty much see everything you want to see whenever you got to see it.
Yeah.
From every angle. I mean, so. But you know, when you're pumped up and you're on the track and somebody hits you, you don't know what's going on. How can you see what's happening from behind you?
Right.
You know, and you're gonna have some guy, you know, with a headset, but you know, on the fence, he's "I took you out."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. He wrecked you on purpose.
It was the 5 car.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're pumped up too. I mean, the adrenaline's going.
Oh yeah. My good buddy Bill Stockton, we raced at ISA together, and he was involved in an accident. Somebody came down on him, and he never lifted, and the guy went crashing into the wall. And he comes into the pits, and he's all bent out of shape, screaming, yelling. He goes, "Who came down on me like that? Who?" I said, "I think it was the 16 car." "How do you know?" "Because his door is still on your bumper." He ripping off. I knew you were storming over there, and we're in we're in another zip code in the pit area because, we're nobody. So we walk over. By the time we got there, we're like all out of breath. Now we're calm. And,
Yeah, by the time you get there, you're
we're
right.
like,
That's a good
you
thing.
missing this? And, we all laughed.
It's a good thing to have big pits.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? I mean, I forget what it was, but I know we had an incident. We came in, and I know my crew was really livid. And the one guy, he works at Denny Hamlin's car now. He was pumped. The tire was all bent up, tire shot, rims all bent up. He takes the thing off, and he's a little nothing. Maybe he's 140 pounds at best. He takes this tire and throws it about 10 feet with the tire and the rim. I'm like, whoa, where you going, man? And think, he was, just like behind him. He's like, wah, I'm like, he's all. I'm like, all right, calm down.
And the adrenaline's flowing.
That's it.
You could lift the car up if you.
He was ready. He was ready to go. He could have did that.
But it's tough, and like I said, the characters are missing in racing today, and I can remember bounties on guys, years ago, and
Save that for the demolition derby.
Exactly.
The Malachi Crunch.
Yeah, Malachi Crunch. Like Cookie Visconti, when him and I would talk about racing all the time, and he said to me one day, he goes, those legendary battles of me and Paul Masiri. I said, yeah, man, I remember a kid, you guys are beating and banging, trying to beat the guy, win, whatever. He goes, our families were closer than families.
Exactly.
Our kids hung out every Sunday. We went to each other's houses for dinner. And he goes, it was all for the show.
That's what.
Now you do that. Black flag, get out, that's it, you're black flag, rough ride. It's all part of the show. You could strategically hit somebody without wrecking them.
Yeah.
And get them a little sideways, and then you just lift so they don't go all the way around. It's about the show. Mike Helton told me that one time. I was working the Xfinity race at New Hampshire, and won a long bunch of laps with no caution. So he nudges me. We need a caution. I'm doing my job. Yeah, we do. Joe, we need a caution. Yeah, I know. He goes, up, 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 and we controlled the lights. So all of a sudden, he hits the yellow light. Put it out, flagman, debris in turn 2. So I go to take my binocular to see it, and he stops me. Now, I could see on the TV monitor what's being broadcast, and I could see on these monitors what's actually happening. So now I have to send clean up this boob track crew over there. They go over there, and I'm watching these monitors, and every once in a while I'm looking at the other one. So the other one's showing 5 guys going to turn 2 and picking up some metal. I'm looking over there, I got 4 guys who pretended to pick up metal. And I kind of went, and he goes, what we do is put on a show. We got to get those commercials in, or we're not having a show.
That's it.
And I was like, I learned a lesson that day,
So what do you think? Is it fixed? And that's always the debate on Facebook. It's fixed.
I don't think it's fixed.
However, I think Hulk Hogan is going to win the championship this year.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right.
He's going to come out with a metal chair and whack somebody in the head.
Whack somebody out.
He's going to whack Martin Truex in the head and win the race.
This is what I
come off the ropes.
Because I believe in politics. Because there's politics and everything.
Believe in politics?
I believe in politics. And there's politics and everything, just like when Hendrick got Jeff Gordon into the playoffs when he didn't really make it, and just when Kyle Busch missed half the season and made the playoffs. They made a rule change. And the provisional deal, when Richard Petty didn't make the Daytona 500 one year, and he said this will be the first year there's not a Petty in the 500. All of a sudden he's in. When Dale Earnhardt Sr. ultimately lost his life at Daytona 500, storybook ending, his son wins the July race. Is it fixed? I don't think so.
But was there a dry eye in the house when he won that race?
No. Nope. And it made news. It made news. I mean, and then the lower levels.
How many guys were moving over for him?
1 or 2. I'm telling you.
What about after that race when Harvick was running his car
And the 3 became the 29.
and he won?
And he won. So, I don't know. We might have to, like, what do they call
There
that
might
show?
be a high-
Mythbusters. We might have to do Mythbusters. And I think we're like
Jesse
running-
Combs was on Mythbusters.
I think we're like down to seconds. I think we are. Oh yeah, I've got that.
Yeah,
nod.
we're getting a nod.
Getting
Yeah.
a nod. Anyway, to be continued. Mythbusters. Is it fixed? Or is that
NASCAR Mythbusters.
Let's do like a poll and see.
On the
I'm gonna
Facebook
post that
page.
yeah. on
Who
our
thinks
page.
it's fixed?
Who thinks it's fixed? And you can't just say I think it's fixed. You gotta
Give
have
a
a
reason.
why
I
you
think it's fixed because I saw this.
right. And take ownership. Don't make a fake
Yeah.
poll. Be you. I'm gonna be me. Chuck's gonna be Chuck. All right, be you.
Not fixed. It's fixed. Why? Give a reason.
And just because you say it's fixed and NASCAR denies your garage passes for all of 2020, have the courage of convictions. Anyway, hey, for those going to the Thompson Motorsports Park this weekend, please be safe and enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And wherever your endeavors bring you this weekend, again, safe, careful. And for those going to my daughter's racing, holy geez, to her wedding, they're mostly racers. Please be responsible. Take the shuttle bus back to the hotel. What you do after that is your business, but please be safe. Everybody be safe. I want to
Absolutely.
see you guys next week. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for your input, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
That's right. Enjoy your week.